and use it to solve everything else. AI and GEB. I was pretty excited to attend an AI meeting at Google. I had been working on various aspects of AI since graduate school in the 1980s and had been tremendously impressed by what Google had accomplished. I also thought I had some good ideas to contribute. But I have to admit that I was there only as a tag-along. The meeting was happening so that a group of select Google AI researchers could hear from and converse with Douglas Hofstadter, a legend in AI, and the author of a famous book cryptically titled Gödel, Escher, Bach, An Eternal Golden Braid, or more succinctly, GEB. If you're a computer scientist or a computer enthusiast, it's likely you've heard of it, or read it, or tried to read it. Written in the 1970s, GEB was an outpouring of Hofstadter's many intellectual passions: mathematics, art, music, language, humor, and wordplay, all brought together to address the deep questions of how intelligence, consciousness, and the sense of self-awareness that each human experiences so fundamentally can emerge from the non-intelligent, non-conscious substrate of biological cells. It's also about how intelligence and self-awareness might eventually be attained by computers. It's a unique book. I don't know of any other book remotely like it. It's not an easy read, and yet it became a bestseller and won both the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award. Without a doubt, GEB inspired more young people to pursue AI than any other book. I was one of those young people. In the early 1980s, after graduating from college with a math degree, I was living in New York City, teaching math in a prep school, unhappy and casting about for what I really wanted to do in life. I discovered GEB after reading a rave review in Scientific American. I went out and bought the book immediately. Over the next several weeks, I devoured it, becoming increasingly convinced that not only did I want to become an AI researcher, but I specifically wanted to work with Douglas Hofstadter. I had never before felt so strongly about a book or a career choice. At the time, Hofstadter was a professor of computer science at Indiana University, and my quixotic plan was to apply to the computer science PhD program there, arrive, and then persuade Hofstadter to accept me as a student. One minor problem was that I had never taken even one computer science course. I had grown up with computers. My father was a hardware engineer at a 1960s tech startup company, and as a hobby, he built a mainframe computer in our family's den. The refrigerator-sized Sigma 2 machine wore a magnetic button proclaiming, "I pray in Fortran." And as a child, I was half convinced that it did, quietly, at night, while the rest of the family was asleep. Growing up in the 1960s and 70s, I learned a bit of each of the popular languages of the day: Fortran, then BASIC, then Pascal, but I knew next to nothing about proper programming techniques, not to mention anything else an incoming computer science graduate student needs to know. To speed along my plan, I quit my teaching job at the end of the school year, moved to Boston, and started taking introductory computer science courses to prepare for my new career. A few months into my new life, I was on the campus of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, waiting for a class to begin, and I caught sight of a poster advertising a lecture by Douglas Hofstadter to take place in 2 days on that very campus. I did a double take. I couldn't believe my good fortune. I went to the lecture, and after a long wait for my turn in a crowd of admirers, I managed to speak to Hofstadter. It turned out he was in the middle of a year-long sabbatical at MIT, after which he was moving from Indiana to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. To make a long story short, after some persistent pursuit on my part, I persuaded Hofstadter to take me on as a research assistant, first for a summer, and then for the next 6 years as a graduate student, after which I graduated with a doctorate in computer science from Michigan. Hofstadter and I have kept in close touch over the years and have had many discussions about AI. He knew of my interest in Google's AI research and was nice enough to invite me to accompany him to the Google meeting.